Welcome to the All In on the Night show. This is a new show that I wanted to start. And why I wanted to is I absolutely love hockey. I am a newer fan of this game, and I honestly wish I would have found this sport sooner. Um, to put it in perspective, I have been watching the Las Vegas Raiders since 2002, and this sport basically has completely replaced football for me. I watch almost every single Vegas Golden Knight game. Only time I've had to skip is when I am traveling or something like that. And I just want to share my passion for this team. I really do. And I never have wanted to start a show unless I actually felt that I could actually add something. And right now I feel like I can. And what I want everyone to come off and expect from this show is um, I don't want it to just be recapping, because I feel like that's already an oversaturated market, and it's just going over recaps. I would like to bring something different to the table. So I will recap stuff. It just won't be the main point of this show. And I want to bring up relative topics and have good takes on things. Um, and I want to go into why and what I think actually matters to the team. So, starting there, I would like to go into my first segment of what is this show. Um, Basically, if you want screaming rage clips and hot takes for clicks, I guarantee you that this is not going to be the show for you. Um, I'm going to be calm, and I'm going to be thoughtful, and I can have takes where I don't like something that the team did, or where the or a player or coach didn't do something that I liked without screaming and being completely obnoxious about it. Um, so I just wanted to make that clear that that's not what this show I want. It's not what I want it to be. Um, as for I might be repeating myself here when I go into a game recaps, but I want to recap the game because I think it's important. But it just doesn't give the whole picture of what's happening with this team, and I want to basically give you a small recap of the games that are in between episodes, and then dive into what I think is uh, dive in deeper to what's happening with this team, or different topics, or say there was a trade made, or a roster move, or anything like that. That's all I'm going for. And I do want to address that the name of the show, it's all in on the Knights, and I want people to understand that this doesn't mean I have blind optimism for the team. I understand that we are going to go through a rebuild at some point, and I know that the Knights have been very lucky over the years to only miss the playoffs once, which is amazing. And I know that our rebuild will be coming sooner rather than later. So this isn't blind optimism. Um, Basically, all it indicates is my love for the team. I don't bandwagon. As I said, I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan. Um, and I've been a fan for 20 plus years. So, um, yeah, that's basically where I wanted to go with that. Um, so, going into our second segment, I wanted to talk about the January woes of this team. And as we all know, statistically, every single year, Vegas has had terrible luck in January. And I personally have a feeling that this could possibly be one of the worst ones that we've seen. Right now, the team already isn't doing fantastic. Um, it's so hard to say that, especially when our team is one game out of the playoffs. Or I'm sorry, not out of the playoffs. One game out of first place. um, in our division, which isn't saying a lot because um, not to talk terribly about our division. It's just it seems like it's a weaker division right now. I guess I want to pose the question of will this January expose the real problems um, in the organization? And that's not. I don't want you to take that as me being upset with the organization. I'm very happy with Bruce Cassidy, Kelly McCrimmon. They're fantastic. They have built a great team. It's just right now, um, it doesn't look fantastic. It really doesn't. So I just want to go and start with the injuries and talk about how it's almost like a stress test for this team and how we need to have the next man up mentality that they talk about. Currently, we have Shea Theodore, William Carlson, Aiden Hill, and now Braden McNabb are injured. I know we got Jack Eichel back, but that's not our biggest problem. Um, from my understanding, I know Shea and Aiden. Well, I know Shea, I think, is supposed to be back for the Olympics, but I just saw something that William Carlson actually won't be making the playoff or the Olympics, which one is bad for us and two is bad for the Olympics. So, but it's just, and I know, I think, I don't remember where I saw it. I want to say I saw it on X, and it's very possible it's just one of those rumors, but someone saw Aiden Hill in a practice jersey, so in Chicago, so for tonight's game, that's happening here in about 13 minutes. So that could be good news. We might have a goaltender back, and I'll get more into the goaltenders because I got a little bit to talk about there. But injuries, they happen to everyone, and we need to see our depth step up. Our team isn't producing enough. They just aren't. Defensively, offensively. And the weird thing is that at the beginning of the season, our power play was just, wow. It looked so good watching Dorofeev, you know, score every single time. Not every single time, but it seemed like he was scoring every single time on the power play. Um, our offense looked good too, and you know what the thing is it still does. It's just we can't hold a lead. We can't. We just can't. We need that next man up mentality, and we don't have it. And I think the bigger issue is the defensive side of the puck. I mean, I was talking to a friend about this at the beginning of the year. He was very upset that we had lost Pietrangelo. So was I. I'm upset. It sucks. But I didn't think at that time that losing Alex Pietrangelo would be this big of a deal. I thought that our defense could step it up. I thought we still had Shea Theodore. We still had Noah Hannafin. Two solid options on defense. Same with Braden McNabb. All very solid players. And now, I just talked to him the other day, and I said, you know what, man? You're right. Not having Alex Pietrangelo has changed this entire team. Our defense is just not there. And I know people say that Alex Pietrangelo's numbers fell off last season, but I'm seeing the difference on the ice. There's a huge difference. And I miss him dearly. I really do. He was a difference maker, and it shows. Korczak, Caden Korczak, has shown flashes of promise, and that's cool and everything, but I don't think he can actually replace, in my opinion, this future Hall of Famer. And it's not all of Korczak's fault, but I don't think anybody has really stepped up to fill his position. Noah Hannafin's not producing as well as we thought he would, and I don't know. Korczak just he might not be ready to take on a top 4 defender role. So, and I really don't think this will really get any better unless we trade for someone. I know there's been a lot of talks about Rasmus Anderson from the Calgary Flame, and I mean, again, this one was a long shot, but Quinn Hughes maybe. I didn't think we would ever get Quinn Hughes. But there's been talks about us going and getting a true defender who can help, and I think that's something that we need to look into right before the trade deadline. Heck, even sooner. I would like to see it. The lack of defense leads the team to slower exits, less offensive flow, and more reliance on late comebacks. We shouldn't be a team that needs a third period miracle win every single time. With how many overtimes we've had, it's just hard. It's hard to watch sometimes. And this leads me into my last point about our January woes, and that makes me ask a question: what does our goalie situation say about how the team reacts under pressure? In a way, is kind of how I want to ask this. So I'm going to paint you guys a picture here on my thoughts and what I'm thinking here. So I personally think that Akira Schmid earned his backup role to replace Ilya Samsonov this year. This year basically. And I thought it was a smart move to bring in one of our own from Henderson and make him the backup to Hill. But then Aiden Hill gets injured early in the season, and then we make Schmid our starter. We then turn to Lindbaum to back up Akira Schmid. And that was hard to watch. Lindbaum was not... I think he won one game, I believe. And that was hard to watch. I'm glad he got his first win and everything. I'm very happy for one of our own to get his first win. But Lindbaum just wasn't the answer, right? So we signed Carter Hart. And once he's eligible to play for us, we basically make him the starting goaltender over Schmid, who had been playing very well recently. And I'll admit, at first, Hart looked really good. He had good stats. We were winning. But then the stats started not looking the right way. It started going downhill. And I don't want to say that Carter Hart is the issue here. I think the decision to play him is the problem. Not play him, but play him more. I think that Schmid should have kept the starting position for the team and have Hart back him up. I almost feel like it was unfair to Schmid to do that. He had earned his backup role. He was playing really well. And then we go and sign Carter Hart. And I understand that he was a very promising, semi-good looking goaltender back before all that stuff happened at the World Juniors, which I have my problems with still. But I just think that Schmid should be the starter right now. He's got better numbers, and I think if I'm looking at this all correctly, Schmid currently is sitting at 11 wins, 4 losses, and 4 overtime losses, with a .95 save percentage. And 2 shutouts. So, not too shabby, right? I know the whole overtime loss thing has been a problem for us this season, but you go to Carter Hart, who, yes, I understand at first he started off 4-1. But since then, he's won 1 game out of 6. And again, this is not me bashing Carter Hart. I personally think we would have better results with Akira Schmid. Carter Hart's currently sitting at 4 wins, 3 losses, and 3 overtime losses, with a save percentage of 8.76. And again, those numbers just keep going down. They really do. And so I guess to finish my point here, I am personally ready for Aiden Hill to come back from injury and see our team go back to how we looked at the beginning of the season. At least when we had a little bit more explosiveness on our power play, had a little bit more explosiveness on offense. And again, I really need to stress this. I am not trying to say that this team is broken. I'm really not. I do think that we are seeing some cracks that are causing concern. Um, January statistically a very bad month for the Knights, and it's just starting to look like that trend will continue. All right, so going into the next part of this video is how I'm going to recap games. So again, like I mentioned, there's a game in about 4 minutes, and I am going to, that will be my first recap. In whatever games come up. I haven't really discussed the schedule. Probably should do that. But I plan on recapping games as they come along. I would like to do I'm thinking like a Wednesday, Sunday type of thing is when I'll do the recaps. And I would like to start each show with recapping games that have occurred since my last video, And I will give my thoughts, go over some stats that intrigued me, and they're not going to be long. I'm thinking maybe 2 minutes at most for each, not for each game, but 2 minutes at most. I mean, if there's been 3 games, it might take a little bit longer, but I would like to keep that around 2 minutes because I don't want that to be the main part of this show. But I feel like it's important to go over what has happened. I think I'm going to call this segment games in 2 minutes. Games in 2 minutes or less. It's kind of what I'm looking at. And I might include some little mini segments within the recap section of the video. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do my flow here. And I'm also open to suggestions for recapping games, as I personally feel it is the main media of other channels. It's the main media that other channels focus on. And I'd like to make it different and fun. If not, make it shorter so we can talk about real issues. Kind of like how we're talking like the January woes. And for my closing part of this, I wanted to talk about what's next with this channel. My goal is 2 videos a week, thinking Wednesdays and Sundays. That could change, but I think I like the idea of Wednesdays and Sundays being the days that I upload. And I think next episode, I want to possibly discuss the Olympic roster a little bit and see how that affects VGK. And then future content, I thought this might be kind of fun. I just recently got a copy of Stratomatic Hockey, and I absolutely love this game. It is so fun. I learned the basic, I learned the advanced way to do it, and there is a super advanced option in it, which I do plan on learning here soon. But I mean, I think I got this game like 2 weeks ago now, so yeah, that's something I want to try and do. I want to maybe once a week. I'm thinking if my schedule can work it in, is I want to play a game of Stratomatic Hockey, and I think this could be fun because I could simulate a game and what it might look like to have a line that has I don't know, just for example, say we put Eichel, Hurdle, and I don't know, Bowman on a line. Something a little bit different that we don't see very often, I want to see, it might be kind of fun, it's definitely different, and I actually might have a friend who will actually play with me once a week, hoping we can do that on Tabletop Simulator or something like that, and I'm hoping that he can actually start sooner so we can get the content that's not just me versus me, and it'll be me versus somebody else, and I might be able to do like a game that's coming up, so like I know we'll be playing, who do we have up? For example, we have Chicago tonight. Maybe I could play us, or VGK versus Chicago, and kind of do like a little simulated game. So I thought that might be kind of fun. And then, excuse me. Basically, I just wanted to go over and say if this is the kind of Golden Knights coverage you've been looking for, you're in the right place. If you like what I do, please leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe, and thank you guys very much.